Lauren Daigle. Daigle? Daigle. However you say it. She is a musician that's been making music for a while, and she just recently put out an album called Sessions. The album Sessions is a music compilation of songs that she's written in the past, primarily like more of her popular songs, plus the addition of the song You Are So Beautiful. It's an album that has a lot of jazz and soul influences on it, and Lauren really brings a great performance to all these songs. She really has a warm and powerful voice that's just on full display throughout all of these renditions. There's certainly more of a richness to these performances than what we're used to in her studio albums, not only from Lauren herself, but also from the backing musicians. Having taken the songs from her studio albums and really stripping them down to their basic form, I think these songs really stand out from what she has recorded in the past. I think that the stripped down versions of these songs that she picked to be on this record were really great picks, and they just sound incredible as an entire package delivered to you via music. Having taken these songs into a softer, more intimate direction, I think it really helps these reimaginings stand out amongst the original recordings. Primarily on the songs Thank God I Do and Be Okay. Especially on the song Be Okay, because in the original recording they had a saxophone solo, which honestly was really good, and it's really good for that recording. But if there was a saxophone solo on this version of it, I just don't think it would stand out as much as like the electric guitar solo just really helps bring the mood into what it needs to be. It really just does a great job at just complementing everything else that's happened in the song. Just really carries it to be this heartwarming, soulful sound that just really brought me a lot of joy. However, I do think that on the songs These Are the Days, You Say, and 21 Days, the originals have much more of like a punchiness to them that they really benefit from, that's kind of missing from these live performances. With that being said, I still do think that these live performances are really good. They just don't hold the same amount of like oomph that like the originals carried. They really fit well amongst everything else that's happening on the album. So it has that for it. Now, this album doesn't have very many low points to it, but the one that really stands out to me is the song You Are So Beautiful. Now, it being a low point for me could just be from the fact that like I grew up watching The Little Rascals, and the only thing I can think of when I hear this song is Alfalfa singing it to Darla while they're rowing a boat. It's just this cringy, puppy young love of two adolescents, which again could totally just be my mind just living in Little Rascals land. Look, if you are able to separate the Little Rascals from this song, good for you. But for whatever reason, I just cannot. It just makes me laugh, and it's just kind of a weird moment throughout the rest of the album. And the last thing I will mention about this album is the inclusion of having Thank God I Do on here twice. Like, both versions of the songs have aspects about them that stand out from each other, but I just don't think that there's enough to justify having it on here a second time. If I had to pick between the two of them, I would definitely pick the second one, because I just like the slower, more almost somber version of the song that it brings to the table that the first one doesn't. It just has more passion and emotion to it than the first one does. Overall, the listening experience of this album is very good. Lauren does a great job delivering a great vocal performance throughout the entire thing, and the instrumentation on the album really does a great job at backing her up through this. The shortcomings of the whole thing collectively are far and few between, and overall, it's a great live album. I enjoyed listening to it very much, and I look forward to what Lauren has to put out in the future. If I had to give this album a rating, I'd probably give this album an 8 out of 10. And that concludes today's review. What did you think of the album? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? Let me know down in the comments what you thought. And while you're down there, throw down an album that I should review next. And I'll get to it in the future. Until then, I'll see you around.